to send his youngest daughter to America. At first, she refused to go, but the boy also knew enough to insist, swearing on his life that he'd earn some money and find a way to follow her. So she left. He got a job in the nearest city, working as a janitor in a hospital. At night, he stayed up writing his book. He sent her a letter into which he'd copied 11 chapters in tiny handwriting. He wasn't even sure the mail would get through. He saved all the money he could. One day he was laid off. No one said why. He returned home in the summer of 1941. The Einsatzgruppen drove deeper east, killing hundreds of thousands of Jews. On a bright, hot day in July, they entered Slonim. At that hour, the boy happened to be lying on his back in the woods thinking about the girl. You could say it was his love for her that saved him. In the years that followed, the boy became a man who became invisible. In this way, he escaped death. Once upon a time, a man who had become invisible arrived in America. He'd spent 3.5 years hiding, mostly in trees, but also cracks, cellars, holes. Then it was over. The Russian tanks rolled in. For 6 months, he lived in a displaced persons camp. He got word to his cousin, who was a locksmith in America. In his head, he practiced over and over the only words he knew in English. Knee, elbow, ear. Finally, his papers came through. He took a train to a boat, and after a week, he arrived in New York Harbor. A cool day in November. Folded in his hand was the address of the girl. That night, he lay awake on the floor of his cousin's room. The radiator changed and hissed, but he was grateful for the warmth. In the morning, his cousin explained to him 3 times how to take the subway to Brooklyn. He bought a bunch of roses, but they wilted because though his cousin had explained the way 3 times, he still got lost. At last he found the place. Only as his finger pressed the doorbell did the thought cross his mind that perhaps he should have called. She opened the door. She wore a blue scarf over her hair. He could hear the broadcast of a ball game through the neighbor's wall. Once upon a time, the woman who had been a girl got on a boat to America and threw up the whole way, not because she was seasick, but because she was pregnant. When she found out, she wrote to the boy. Every day she waited for a letter from him, but none came. She got bigger and bigger. She tried to hide it so she wouldn't lose her job at the dress factory where she worked. A few weeks before the baby was born, she got news from someone who heard they were killing Jews in Poland. Where? She asked, but no one knew where. She stopped going to work. She couldn't bring herself to get out of bed. After a week, the son of her boss came to see her. He brought her food to eat and put a bouquet of flowers in a vase by her bed. When he found out she was pregnant, he called a midwife. A baby boy was born. One day, the girl sat up in bed and saw the son of her boss rocking her child in the sunlight. A few months later, she agreed to marry him. 2 years later, she had another child. The man who had become invisible stood in her living room, listening to all of this. He was 25 years old. He had changed so much since he last saw her, and now part of him wanted to laugh a hard, cold laugh. She gave him a small photograph of the boy, who was now 5. Her hand was shaking. She said, "You stopped writing. I thought you were dead." He looked at the photograph of the boy who would grow up to look like him, who, although the man didn't know it then, would go to college, fall in love, fall out of love, become a famous writer. "What's his name?" he asked. She said, "I called him Isaac." They stood for a long time in silence as he stared at the picture. At last, he managed 3 words. "Come with me." The sound of children shouting came from the street below.
squeezed her eyes shut. "Come with me," he said, holding out his hand. Tears rolled down her face. 3 times he asked her. She shook her head. "I can't," she said. She looked down at the floor. "Please," she said. And so he did the hardest thing he'd ever done in his life. He picked up his hat and walked away. And if the man who once upon a time had been a boy, who promised he'd never fall in love with another girl as long as he lived, kept his promise, it wasn't because he was stubborn or even loyal. He couldn't help it. And having hidden for 3.5 years, hiding his love for a son who didn't know he existed, didn't seem unthinkable. Not if it was what the only woman he would ever love needed him to do. After all, what did it mean for a man to hide one more thing when he has vanished completely? For tonight, I'm gonna stop there. I hope that you enjoyed it. Please subscribe to my channel if you did, and hit the like button so that I know that you liked this. And hit that notification bell so you're notified when I come out with more to this, because I'm about to read some more, and that will be posted within a week after this is posted. So I'll be coming out with these weekly, and each video will be numbered in the thumbnail and in the title. So if you would like to listen to me read this book in order, I'll make a playlist and link that in the comments, so that way you can listen to these in order and follow along with the book as it's being read, because I am that type of person who likes to watch YouTube videos in order once I'm like invested in the content. So yeah, whatever you are doing, have a good day, good night, good evening. Bye guys. My channel is sponsored by a website called Wildflower Sex. For the rest of this ad read, I'm gonna say sax, like saxophone, instead of the word that I need to say. So let's talk more about Wildflower Sex. They are a sexual wellness company. First, I'll tell you about what I've purchased from there so far. Now, I will say I bought this without having any experience with said item. I'll show you this side. The other thing that I purchased on their website are some period cups. They're silicone, and it's really great if you want to reduce your carbon footprint in the environment. They are used for replacements for feminine products. But these period cups I got from Wildflower are really, really high quality. They're the perfect size for me. They have all different shapes and sizes of period cups on their website, and toys. So let's get more into the website itself. Right off the bat, the website is extremely inclusive. I absolutely love it. That's the first thing that really drew me into this website. Was not only do they talk about saxophone education and wellness, but they talk about inclusivity and how you can learn how to be more inclusive and things like that. Here's one example of something called the NB. If you scroll down, it will tell you what it's good for, what it's best used for, and if you scroll even more, you get some pretty detailed, pretty honest, and great reviews, which, I don't know, for me, it's nice to see honest reviews on a website. But not only that, it's pretty dang entertaining too. If you never have, go through the reviews of saxophone toys. Yeah, that's pretty fun. Anyway, my favorite part about this website isn't even the toys and inclusivity. It is the article that they give you about saxophone education. It is so hard to keep remembering to say saxophone. You go to this tab and there's tons of articles about gender, how-to guides, relationships, sex, body positivity, toys, tools, and my favorite I found, mental health. It's so wonderful to see an adult website that promotes saxophone wellness and education rather than just trying to throw stuff at you to buy constantly. Consider shopping around the site. Again, my affiliate link is in the description below, and if you can't spend money right now, I fully understand. Check out the website anyway and read the articles they have to offer, because it's an